What do you reckon? Am I going to be able to make that work, or a variation of that? Well, that is the question. I've been hunting for a good spot to put a second spare wheel on this little bunky Subaru Forester here. There's a couple options. Chuck it on the roof. Don't really want to do that personally. Creates a lot of wind drag. Put it in the car somewhere, but then you lose the space. There's also attachments you can get for your tow bar, you know, that sleeve in like this guy, and then there's like a big rod which comes up and that it will sit out here somewhere, but they are quite pricey. I had a look online and they wanted something like $500 for one, and I was like, oh well, I don't really want to do that. This is where I want it to be, or probably slightly lower so it's not catching the wind. Some sort of small frame here, bang the tire on and off, piece of cake, no wind resistance, nice and simple, lightweight structure. The material I'll be using is 50 millimeter by 3 millimeter steel bar. You can pick this up from your local hardware store. This 2 meter length. She was about $18. I got two of them. There's another one hiding on the floor over there by the gate. And my original thought here was that I was going to build a bit of a H shape, something like that, and then having one or two, you know, of the offcuts running through the middle, boom, and then boom, screwed in there with a rib nut, screwed in there, rib nut, obviously having to take that plastic off, cut the plastic to fit the guys in. And then I was like, oh man, that's a lot of work, and I don't really want to cut that plastic up because it's still in good, relatively good nick. And then I was having a look at this guy here. This is the nut that holds on the back wiper blade to the wiper motor, and that is a strong point there, really strong. I could get up and stand on that, you know, 100 kilos standing right on that, doesn't move at all. Gonna have to get rid of the squirter, remove the wiper blade, take the nut off, hole, nut there, maybe riv nut, and then that can be the base of when then the tyre goes on there. There's plenty of room there with a hole drilled in it that would easily slide over the shaft. You might be saying to yourself, well, now you don't have a back wiper, but I mean, it would have been obsolete anyway because there'd be a giant wheel there. Muck around getting the back squirter off. There's a little joiner in the back here. Our guy comes off because I've mangled it now, so I guess I'm committed to the process. Yeah. It's got a little face. And would you believe, the hole left is the perfect size. Maybe a little big for a rib nut. So I'm going to put one of those straight in there. I'm not confident in one by itself supporting the weight of the top of the wheel carrier, so I'm going to put another one up here as well. Every day is a good day for drilling holes in your car. Alright, that's the juicy stuff done, the planning done. We've got our 3 mounting points for the spare wheel carrier. 1, 2, and 3. Now it's time to measure up the steel and cut her. Is the right size now, the right length I should say. It just needs a bend, so she can come over and get screwed down on that point and screw down on this point and be flat for down here. I think this is going to be more of an art than a science. You know what? I think I've nailed that first time. All right, this sash is looking at the top. We've got our high tensile bolts going through into the rib nuts, and I've kind of spaced them out a bit with a couple of big washers there. It's not the prettiest looking oil painting in the world. Just got to drill that hole in there, and she's sitting off the glass nicely. starting to look pretty magnificent now. Alright, so what we've got here is some, I think, M10 threaded rod. So basically a bolt with no head on it. Two, what would you call them? Almost wing nutty hand tightening nuts. One on that side, one on that side. Really tight together, pinching onto the metal. There's a nice big washer there. That's the washer out of the car itself that would hold it down inside your boot. And I've just pinched that out of there. Sleeves over the rod, gets held in place. Get it where I want it with a hand tightening, and then just finish it off with a couple of good hoiks with an adjustable spanner. Just going to pull it off one last time. Trim these sharp corners, give her a paint. All right, finished product. Looking pretty good. These nuts could use a little bit of paint, but that's no biggie. That's really on there. And then that nut there is one of the nylon ones that can't come undone, well, not easily anyway. It could really use a washer, but I'll get there. So yeah, let's fit the tyre, take it for a drive. All in all, not too bad of a job. Some things you may want to consider are the fact that it may obstruct your middle brake light. So keep that in mind. The number plate, it may be slightly obstructed. I'm probably just going to drop my number plate ever so slightly down, because where I live, it's like $1,000 fine for an obstructed number plate. So I'm just not even going to take the chance. I mean, she's really on there. Like, whole car's shaking. What I might do is where it touches the body, put a bit of double-sided foam in there so we get rid of that squeak over corrugations. And if I was to do it again, I would probably use 1 mil thicker bar, because there is a little bit of flex in it. I think just a little bit thicker of a bar would do the job. Obviously, you're going to lose a bit of view out of your back window. You're going to lose your back wiper. You're going to obstruct your middle brake light there a little bit, and you may obstruct your number plate too. These things are fixable. Something to be very mindful of in regards to the back door. If your gas struts are 20 years old, like mine, they may not have enough juice left in them to hold up the additional weight of a spare wheel. Mine's not far off. It just needs a tiny bit more juice in there to hold it open. So unfortunately, this $20 hack is going to cause me to spend extra on a new set of struts. One more very important thing is I'm going to put a safety chain. So I'm going to either weld or bolt a really thin gauge chain onto the bracket and have it run inside the wheel, and then hook out and have a little T-piece coming out of one of these holes. So in the unlikely event that this is loose and the wheel can fall off, it'll get caught by the chain and then just drag along the ground rather than bounce through traffic and hit a motorcyclist or something like that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little one. Give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one.